Hey everyone, this is Hollander Cooper from GamesRadar. I've played a ton of Titanfall.
And I'm Ryan Telchnik, and I have not. So I have a few questions for you.
All right, let's do this.
All right, obviously this being made by Respawn, X and Infinity Ward developers.
Right.
Does it feel like Call of Duty?
It kind of does. When you're just running around and shooting, like if you don't do any of the other stuff, it feels like Call of Duty. People die in about the same amount of bullets. You die in about the same amount of bullets. People move about the same speed. It feels like if there was a version of this game where it's like you're glued to the ground and can only do tiny hops and go prone, then it would feel a lot like playing whatever the most recent Call of Duty past Modern Warfare you've played is.
Okay, so what makes this different then?
A lot. So the biggest thing is right in the name, the Titans. Titans, every so often, you can call down a Titan, it falls from the sky, there's this super rewarding, like, crackling noise of it breaking through the atmosphere that is just so rewarding, but they hit the ground, and you can either get them to follow you around, or you can jump in, and you have giant mech battles, just in the middle of a match that's basically like a match of any other first-person shooter. You can outfit them with a lot of weapons. They're not too overpowered, but when they show up, you kind of get the same feeling that you get when a tank rolls in another shooter, where you're like, oh shit, I need to get out of its sight. Because even if they just do like a dash move and hit you, they'll just squish you.
Yeah, but what if you don't have access to a Titan, right? Because I played a little bit of the beta, and there are times where you just don't have access to your Titan right at the moment.
Yeah, well, you have the option of shooting at it with your anti-Titan weapons, or you can rodeo it, which is just jumping on the back and shooting into it. And you do that usually by using the game's parkour, because it has some really interesting free-running style things where if there's a wall, you can run up it. If you jump, you can run up the wall next to it, and you can kind of jump between walls Mario 64 style to get to areas you normally couldn't get to. And that is probably, even more than the Titans, the biggest, most impactful change in this game, because you can get anywhere on the map almost. If you see an object, you can probably climb it. And that's a huge difference, because it's not just like in Battlefield, you gotta like jump out of a helicopter and land on a big building, and then you fall off, and you're like, well, that's like 8 minutes of getting up there that I needed to do. But the fact that you're able to just free run up to the top of areas or between buildings, it makes it feel a lot more epic.
Okay, how about the map design? Because obviously in multiplayer shooters, that's kind of an important element.
It is.
What about in Titanfall?
Yeah, the maps, there's 15 of them, which is actually a lot. It's not a ton more than normal, but it is more than you normally see. And the map design's really good. I'd say that of the 15, about 8 of them are like totally different, and the other 7 are just kind of like, they don't feel exactly like the other maps. It's just like, oh, another city that feels like the one from the beta, or no, another really big open one with 3 big buildings. They're not all totally different, but because of the parkour and because you can run anywhere, it ends up making them feel a lot different, because you get to know the intricacies of all of them. So even if 2 or 3 maps might look similar, and even if they are kind of similar in concept, they end up feeling different. And the way you approach a battle can change, because there's the other big change in the game being the minions, which are just AI-controlled soldiers on both teams that you can kill for points in most of the modes, and it makes the battles, even like quick battles with a few friends, because you can only play 6v6, it makes every battle feel like a much bigger, more epic affair.
Yeah, so I remember when this was announced that there would be 6v6 battles. Do they ever feel like kind of too small, or are they good size, or what?
You might go a little while without seeing another actual person, so sometimes it does get that weird feeling of being a little smaller than you're used to. But the difference is, when you play Battlefield or even Call of Duty on a bigger map, if you're not going to run around, you might run around and not see anybody for a while in those games. But because the minions are there, they do fill the role of, like, in reality, you don't want to be, I mean, if you're really good at the game, obviously, you're like, I want to see people all the time because I'm just going to kill everyone. But in a 6v6 map filled with AI to shoot, you're always interacting with the world. You're always going to be killing something and dodging bullets from something else. Okay. Even if the AI is dumb as hell. Like, I've seen them do really stupid stuff in the game, and I expect that there's going to be some good montages online just of the derpiest derps that you're going to see them do.
Oh, can't wait. Finally, let's talk about the game modes a little bit.
Sure. So the first big game mode is the campaign. It's the first thing that shows up on the map. And I know a lot of people are confused about what is this game's story or campaign.
Right.
It's pretty lame.
Oh, no.
It's online only, which is fine, and it's comprised of just multiplayer levels, where you just play through, I think, 9 multiplayer levels, and some have little cutscenes before and after, like really short ones, or just when you're on the dropship, characters will just kind of have a dialogue of like, oh man, we're running out of supplies, we really need gas. And then they'll just throw you into a match and be like, all right, go play Capture Point. And you'll just play Capture Point with like a little face that'll pop up every so often to kind of give exposition as to what's going on.
Yeah.
You won't care about any of the characters. I guarantee that. It almost makes you feel like you're, if you're playing like Call of Duty campaign and you're like driving in a Jeep and then the guy next to you in the Jeep gets sniped and then you like the Jeep blows up and you stumble out of it and then you go do a cool mission.
Yeah.
You're playing as the guy who got sniped in the Jeep. Like, because other characters sometimes will be like, all right, I'm going to break in and do this cool thing. And you're like, all right, I'm going to go play Team Deathmatch. And
oh boy.
It's worth playing because you have to do it to unlock the mechs, but it's not going to really scratch the itch of any kind of single-player game.
Okay.
And actually, the biggest issue with the game, I'd say, is the game modes themselves, because there's 2 kinds of team deathmatch, one where you get points for killing minions, one where you don't. There's Capture the Flag, which is just capture the flag.
Yep.
There's Capture Point, which is just Capture Point. And there's Last Titan Standing, which almost kind of feels like Counter-Strike, because it's just like you have 2 teams of 6, 1 life. If you die, you're out for the round.
Okay.
And you don't get to call in new Titans, and the last people that have Titans standing win. But to me, it feels like there are all these cool mechanics. There's the Titans, there's the free running, there's the
minions.
The minions, and they don't really do anything other than augment the same modes you've been playing your entire shooter career. There's no in Killzone they have that mode that it cycles through the different modes while you play, so a match lasts longer. And if you look at like Call of Duty has added all these interesting modes like Kill Confirmed and all these things, or One in the Chamber.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you don't play those all the time, I'll find like I do like to every so often play something different. And because this only has a few modes and they all feel the same as the modes you've been playing for so long, it stops the game from being anything other than a better version of the game you've been playing. It doesn't. It innovates in some ways, and then in other ways, it's weirdly conservative in what it does.
Okay. Well, then, kind of having put all this time into Titanfall, what is your overall impression? Is this the game that's going to finally replace Call of Duty as the multiplayer shooter?
It's hard to tell because it depends on what you want from a Call of Duty game. When I get a Call of Duty game, I want some kind of dumb Michael Bay shooter story. But even if it doesn't have that, I like the variety of modes. And in Battlefield, you have these huge maps and these vehicles, and the game mode of the Capture Point in that takes more advantage, and there's the rush mode, and there's all those things. This game, in terms of gameplay, has the potential to lure people away from Call of Duty. I absolutely believe that. There have been so many people that have tried to do that and failed, and I think that this has the potential. But the fact that it's coming out early in the year, and Call of Duty is going to come out late in the year, I think you're going to have people just go back to Call of Duty and not maybe come back to Titanfall, because I don't know anything about the next Call of Duty, but I guarantee you it's going to have more than 5 modes.
Right.
And having those more modes makes it so you're going to have more variety, and you're going to get tired of it a little further down the line.
Okay.
So even if you do love this, and you probably will, because it's super fun, the limited modes and some of the other minor concerns are definitely going to hold it back from being the game, like the true game changer that people were hoping for.
Okay. So what did you score the game?
I ended up going with a 4 out of 5. It's super fun, and you should totally play it if you like that style of shooter, like the Call of Duty shooter and all that stuff, and you probably do if you're watching this. But if you're looking for a truly revolutionary game, Titanfall 2 is probably like a year and a half away, and that's probably going to be it. But if you're looking for that, you're definitely going to have a few months of enjoyment out of it. But yeah, super fun. Definitely recommended to any shooter fans. And you can check out the full text review and tons of other content on GamesRadar.com and on our YouTube page, youtube.com/GamesRadar, with a ton of Titanfall stuff.